Honorable Speaker, Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable President, Honorable Members, some of history's most important moments occur when political leaders take the risk of rising to seemingly insurmountable challenges because they know that the alternative of not doing so leads to certain disaster. It is in these times that we see who the true builders are of society and who the true breakers of society are. Honorable members, it must never be lost on us that many in our country place their votes in the ballot box in hopes that their struggle will be our #1 agenda in this House. It cannot be business as usual when South Africans are denied the potential of their dreams, when their talents are ignored, when their hopes are destroyed, and when their trust continues to be broken. It is this time that the true builders must stand up and ignore the breakers of society. Honorable Speaker, one of the issues that urgently requires the government's attention is access to adequate housing. Across the length and breadth of South Africa, many people remain destitute and without dignity. The promise of our Constitution under Section 26 remains unfulfilled. We need to urgently focus the attention on fast-tracking and rolling out of title deeds to give people security. In doing so, we give the people the opportunity to leverage property as capital, to enable property owners to pass down formal title to their families, and to improve access to credit, and so much more. We need to focus on fast-tracking of the digitization of the housing list, because with each passing moment, this omission continues to strip the people of South Africa of the dignity that they deserve. There are 2.5 million households on the National Housing Needs Registers as of February 2023. This indicates that the need for housing is urgent and deeply material for South Africans in our country. Housing should be a means of numerous ends, not an end within itself. We do not own or occupy or rent houses merely to do so. Instead, a house provides security, shelter, and supports the good health of families. It is a space for livelihoods, a place from which we grow food or we operate home-based enterprises, and therefore its denial is a denial of a constitutional imperative. The environment and the climate, Mr. President, require the machinery of our government to move much faster than it has. The recent heavy rains across our country have caused chaos and have left many people displaced, as much as 15,000 people who remain without homes as we speak. The expansion of social housing for people who earn between 1,500 and 15,000 per month, particularly individuals who do not qualify for housing bonds and do not qualify for breaking new ground housing, is vitally important. We want to suggest that there should be an increase in rental housing stocks, specifically formulated to address targeted sections of the population for which the demand for rental housing is particularly high. This includes, but not limited to, students, young professionals, single-headed households, and the elderly. It is also important to ensure that we revise the income thresholds annually in line with inflation. We strongly suggest that there is a firm focus on the low spending of provincial and municipal grants, as this is important that people are able to receive the funds that government has set aside. It is deeply unfair and unjust that funds are simply not being spent whilst millions of South Africans remain outside of formal housing in this country. We further ask that government pay attention to blocked projects across our country where projects are entering the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year without completion, which leads to the delay of the dignity for many millions of South Africans in our country. Many of us will leave here today and go back to our homes, but the people that we represent don't have homes to go to. The people of South Africa need us to be builders in this house because there is so much at stake. There's too much on the line. We have to succeed. The breakers believe that when other people succeed, they themselves are somehow diminished. They try to take down everyone else who is trying to build so that they can stand out. In church, they say there are two kinds of people, those that are born again and those that are born against. We know who those individuals are in this House. South Africa has called us to make their struggle the #1 agenda in this House, and the DA will and has answered that call. We repeat to say, hope and help is on the way. Thank you.